Hello everybody and welcome to our studio. Here it is, we're in the middle of June, and what a better time to make this adorable basket, because I love to use these for berries and any type of summer fruit, but also I keep my tools in them. So this is one of my favorite baskets, and I love that we're making this today because the first one I made was actually about 10 years ago when I first started as a blogger. And I love it. People have been asking for it, so we're going to do it. All right, we have Emily over here who's going to be answering your questions. Emily, tell them how to do that.
Hello. So if you have any questions related to this project, go ahead and click the Ask button and we'll bring it up on screen and be sure to answer that for you. And if you have any unrelated questions, you can ask them in chat and I can answer them there, or you can email me for that as well.
All right, did you get all that? Sorry, I just want to make sure this stays on so I don't have to sit here and heat it up. Anything else we need to talk about?
I think we're good to go.
Okay, well, I heard a rumor that my sister's in the house, so I want to do a little shout out to my sister Arlene, who actually is Matthew's mom. So, hello. Say hello in chat if you're there.
Hello, Auntie.
All right, so I'm going to show you the tools and materials that we'll be using today. I have a ruler, and I like having a longer ruler. This one's about 18 inches long. You could go as short as 14 inches. I don't even know if they make a 14-inch ruler. It's helpful to have the long ruler, and you'll see why. If you don't have a ruler, you can just use something with a nice straight edge and just mark it off. I also have a pencil, large scissors, and I have a clip. This is optional, just a large clip. We use it for our fringe, but I'm going to use it to hold some things in place when I first start to weave. I'm going to be using the art glitter glue today. When I made the baskets in the past, I actually used hot glue, but I like this better, and I experimented last night. This is the one I made last night, and I'm noticing some glue spots, and I'm like, it doesn't feel as organic, so I'm going to be using this art glitter glue. I also have my curling tool. This is also optional. I'm going to show you how to use the edge of a table, but something flat. You could also use the edge of your clip. Then I have a nice little basket of these mini clips, and this I think is probably one of the most important things to make this very simply and easily, at least for me. It's a great tool to simplify it. If you don't have mini clips, you can use clothespins or anything that's small that can clip each of these. Okay, then we have our paper bags. And someone was asking me this morning where to find paper bags, and I kind of had this aha moment of, I guess not all grocery stores give these out. There are, Oregon does not allow plastic bags, so this is the common bag in all of our grocery stores. If you can't find one, you can also use like a butcher paper. I prefer a thicker butcher paper, but I love using these bags because then it's upcycling, recycling, rather than just throwing them in the trash. And something I noticed too is the Whole Foods bag is a bit more gray tone, where the Trader Joe's bag has a bit more yellow. So, for whatever that's worth. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be using today, is the Whole Foods bag. Only because I've already cut out some strips. I'm going to set everything aside here. And the first thing I'm going to do, oh, I forgot about this. Okay, I have an easy press here. You can also use an iron. This is completely optional. You don't have to do this step. When I was making my sample last night to remind myself how to make it, I realized how much easier it is to press my bag, so I'm going to do that today. All right, we're going to first take off the handles very gently. You don't want to rip through the bag. Some bags don't have handles. We want to remove those.
I wonder if using the iron to heat the glue up would work for the handles.
I could try. Let's try it on the other side. Let's see if that works. All right, heat it up. This is a little impromptu test here, so I'll let you know if it works. I'm not quite sure what kind of glue they used. It may not have been a heat activated glue. It could be just something more like this. Well, it does seem to tear off, and it does seem like it's a gummy glue, so that's actually a great idea. Thanks, Emily. Oh, look at that. It's actually leaving some of the glue on the bag here as well. Okay. All right. Once you have those off, you're going to open the bag and find the seam. And I definitely want to cut down the seam. And then I will trim off the bottom of the bag. Your edges, you don't have to be super, super clean on this. Just kind of chop that off as easily as possible. I have some onion skin. Don't need that. Okay, and this is where it gets fun. I really like to iron paper. It's something we do here. Sometimes we iron crepe paper, and it's just kind of fun. Make sure if you're ironing with just a regular iron, you do not use steam. That will kind of shift your paper texture, and you don't want that. This will give you a nice flat surface.
That's pretty satisfying.
I know, there is something satisfying about ironing paper. I don't know what it is. If anybody figures it out, let me know. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. And I'll go ahead and put this iron away. Turn it off and put it away so I can have my whole surface here. Okay, so I have this large strip, and over here on the side you can see that it has the double. I'm actually going to flip that around, and that will be cut off in the end. I don't need the mat anymore, so I'll move that. And the next thing you'll do is take your ruler, start at the top, maybe an inch from the top. And my ruler here, the inch starts just a bit inside the ruler, so keep that in mind. And then I went ahead and taped off 1 3/4. So it's an easy reference. I'm going to just mark at the top every 1 3/4. If anyone wants to translate that into yeah, anyway, if anyone wants to translate that, go for it. I thought about it and I forgot. 1 3/4. And you will be able to get, I think I measured about 20 strips per bag. For this basket, for the one we're making today, I only need 18, so that you can make a whole basket from one bag. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way down because I actually have some pre-cut. Then we'll go to the base and do the same. So make sure you are lining it up. Now at this point, an easier step would be to pull out your cutting mat and maybe an X-Acto knife, and you can just cut the strips according to your marks. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to cut them by hand. So there are 2 options for you. Probably more efficient to just use an X-Acto knife. But I'll mark out my strips.
I just wanted to say really quickly, if you are joining us on YouTube and you want to be a part of our live chat, just click the link in the top description and it will take you over to our website where you can join us over on Vimeo to be a part of our chat.
It will take you to our site, which is hosted by Vimeo. It will not take you to Vimeo. How's that?
Yes.
Yes. And of course you can watch it either way. Okay, that's enough for now. I would go ahead and finish marking the whole sheet. So I have all 18, but as you can see, I've cut some ahead of time and folded them just to move things along. So now I'm going to cut each strip. It doesn't have to be exact, you know, I mean, you want it fairly even, but it's not so, these ends will be tucked in. I'll just say it that way. So I need 18 strips total. I'm just going to recount. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I have 11 already folded. There's 15, 16, 17. Okay, I need one more. And again, I would cut out the whole strip. I already have them done. So I'll put this away for another basket. The next step that you'll want to do is take 2 of your strips, and I'm going to fold them in half, only 2, and give them a snip so they're cut in half. Then I'm going to take 4 of my other strips here, grab some glue. This is where I realized that this white glue works so well, and I do love this art glitter glue because it's extremely strong. I'm going to place just a really thin layer of glue at the end and then add the shorter side, so that way we'll have 4 longer strips. And these are the strips that will go around the edges. I like using this glue. When I was using the hot glue, I noticed that it made it a bit too bumpy and thick. So that's why having this really thin glue looks just so much better. And also it dries nice. You don't have that glue glob. Let's see. Any questions out there?
No questions yet, but Arlene just got into the chat so we can say hi.
Oh, good.
Let us know if you have any questions. I think that, yeah, you're doing a great job of explaining. And you said you just cut 2 in half, so you have 4 half-size pieces
Yes.
total. So you're making 4 extra long strips.
Yes, and I'll count them out for you guys here in a second. So the next step after you finish gluing those 4 pieces, and you can set those aside and let those dry. Oh, another thing I wanted to note, when you're adding the piece, line it up onto something and make sure that you see that this is a little crooked. Sometimes it can run just a bit crooked. I don't know, it's easy to get it off, I don't know, off alignment. So use something to kind of line it up. You want that to be nice and straight. All right, I'll set those aside to dry. And as you can see here, I have folded most of the pieces, and this is how I do it. Flip it over so that the printed side is facing upward, and then we'll take the first edge and you'll fold it in short of 1/3. So you want more space on this side than what you're folding. So you can see if you fold it over 1/3, it's about half and half. So you want slight more on the side that's just one layer. Does that make sense, Emily?
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. And I think I know why also.
Uh-huh. So what I found is if I do it just a little bit short, then when I flip over the other side, it's more even on the edge, and I don't have that quite the layered look. You know, if it's a little off, it's not a big deal. I just like a bit cleaner. So Then I was using my curling tool just to press this down nice and tight. You can also use the clip if you want to. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to scrape the table, but you can use the clip if you want to. Pressing it down with your fingers is good. I just like that really nice tight press. If you have a table with a sharper edge, you can also run it down the table, and that gives it a nice edge. It also curls it a bit. All right, we'll do the same thing for these long strips. So every single strip that we've cut, all 18, well, now it's 16. All 16 will have this fold. It was 18 that we cut, plus we cut 2 in half. So now we're down to 16.
Sharon wants to know if you have made any with the print side up.
I have not, but it could be very pretty. When we were making these succulents the other day from the paper bags, I actually liked seeing some of the print on the paper. I thought that was fun. So I think it's a great option.
You could even color the strips or add some texture with something, colored pencil,
yeah,
if you wanted.
Color pencil would work well with this. I probably wouldn't add markers because it would make it a bit softer, but yeah, have fun with it. I really like this earthiness of, you know, the craft bag, so, but make it your own personality for sure. Yeah, something I was noticing, you know, this one here, these two, all three of these are over 10 years old, and I keep using them. And the thing is they're so sturdy. The bags themselves are made to be pretty sturdy as they hold your groceries. And then now we're folding it into 3, so there's 3 layers. Then we're weaving it, so there's 6 layers. 6 layers of paper is pretty sturdy. And they're just so cute. All right, I need another set of hands here to help me fold. Good thing I had most of them done, huh?
It's fun to watch.
Oh, good.
A few of us were discussing some of our favorite flowers this time of year. I know it's peony season and they are just bursting over here in the Pacific Northwest.
Are they? I haven't seen it yet. I have roses in my
Really?
garden.
Oh, they're everywhere.
I don't get out. I have so many roses in my garden. I have 3 plants and they are just exploding. Makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I planted some cosmos this year in my lettuce bed, and those are starting to open up, which is really fun. I noticed my astabil just bloomed. Whoops, kind of got off there. All right, you can see how I messed up my fold. That's okay, we're just gonna move it back in. Kind of trying to hurry. Okay, my last one. So what would you all use these bags for? Put them in the comments or baskets, and Emily can read them out for us. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas of what you'd use them for.
And also, if you don't mind, a couple people are asking for the exact lengths of the strips.
Okay, yeah, so the exact length, I'll tell you the exact height of the bag is, once I cut everything off, the bag itself is about 14, a little less than 14 and a half inches. So the strips themselves will be 14 and a half inches. Then we have the 14 and a half plus the half, which would be, we do have a bit of overlap, so we're like 18, about 20 inches. So 14 inches for these, 20 inches for these.
And if you end up with smaller strips, it would just
That's
be
okay.
a smaller basket.
Exactly. I noticed, you know, the one I made last night, came out just a bit smaller, and it's probably because I folded the paper in a bit tighter. And then, you know, this one here, I only did, what is this, 3 layers up, so it made it shorter. So there's so much variation. You can make it any size you want. I felt this width looks very pretty.
You could make them taller if you wanted.
Absolutely, you could go a lot taller. Okay, so the next step is I'm going to take, and I'm placing it so that my fold is up. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, but this will be the inside of my basket. I'm putting 6 in a row. And you can see how pressing the fold really does help, because it keeps them nice and flat instead of opening up like this. So I'll do this one more time. You can see how my overlap is a little short there, and that's okay. We want the strips to be relatively similar in size, but you know, if you're making a basket from natural materials, there will be variation. Slight variation. Okay, I have 6. I'm going to line them up. And then I have 6 this direction. So we're going to do a 6 and 6. I'm going to show you what I'll do here. Hold these up. I'm going to put these on the side, line them up on the end. Now I'm going to take my clip. I wish it were an inch longer, but we'll make it work. I'm going to take my clip, see if I can do this, and clip these guys in side by side. I need one more hand, you guys. One more, okay. There we go. All right, so I've clipped it in so that you can start weaving a bit easier. You can also, if you wanted to, you could glue a strip of paper on the end and clip it off later. That would be perfectly fine. All right, so now I'm going to start weaving. And you all know how to weave, right? It's just up and down, every other one. And then the opposite. It's very satisfying. And for now, we're just going to, you know, put it in as tight as you can. We'll tighten it even more so once we have them all in. This would be a fun project for a younger crafter. You know, learn some weaving skills. I took a weaving class in college and wish I had been able to take more. I just loved it. It's so much fun. Basket weaving in college, of course. We weren't weaving baskets, we were actually weaving cloth, but same idea. And the idea here is you'll want to make sure all the ends are about even. So once you get the last strip in, you can actually bring your, you can measure it out, and let's see, we're about 4 inches. So we can move it this direction, a little more than 4 inches on the other side. So go ahead, and it doesn't have to be perfectly centered, but relatively, because you want your strips to all be about the same. Okay, that's closer to 5 inches, and that's about 5 inches. That looks pretty good. We'll make them all even here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take one of my clips, and I'll start in one of the corners. I can take this off and give it a clip, and this will be my starting point. And actually, I'm going to do this. I'll go ahead and add just a touch of glue to the back. I feel like it makes it easier when you're weaving this type of basket to have a secure corner, or to have secure corners. So I'm going to actually glue all 4 corners before we start doing the sides. If anyone's sharing what they're going to be using these baskets for, Emily, do you shout out?
Yes, it's some fresh fruit, strawberries from the garden, or gift baskets, which I love the idea of gift baskets. Also using them for odds and ends in a craft room, or Easter baskets, which I think, you know, that's it.
I love
a gift
them.
basket, right along the same line.
Yep.
And also this is very satisfying to watch.
Yeah, it is. So I'm just, you can see how I'm nudging everything in this direction, one way and then the other. This shouldn't take very long. You don't need to spend so much time on it. But at some point, when you feel like you have everything tight this direction, you can go ahead and glue off another corner. I'll bring my clips over. This art glitter glue does tend to dry very quickly. Another option too, you'll notice that my weaving is quite tight, so I have everything, you know, right up to the other, so there's really no holes. You can do a looser weave if you want to. That is a beautiful look. It might be a little bit hard to keep it consistent. Whoops, okay, stay there. That one got a bit crooked. Let me fix it before the glue dries. Another nice thing about the art glitter glue versus hot glue. Okay. It's kind of funky because I'm trying to press it into the corner, which might make it go to an angle. Oh, come on. All right, so now I'm just going to continue to push these into place and get the base of this basket set and ready to go.
But yes, what you were saying about this being a classic weaving technique, this is just, you can use any material to make this.
Yep. I've done this in ribbon too. So there is a ribbon version of this basket on our site.
I've lately been very interested in learning how to do this with people do it with like long grasses or pine needles, using natural materials. I think it would be really fun.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and then one of my favorite projects from this month is Megan made the drink koozie that goes around your drinking glass, weaving macrame cord, which, oh, so beautiful. I would love a large version of that.
Just a big basket.
Yes. I actually am using it to put my pins on my desk. The drink koozie has become a pin cup, a very soft one.
And then you said the strips are about 1 inch thick before you folded them?
No, the strips are 1 3/4 inches.
Okay.
So I marked my ruler here at 1 3/4 inches. By the time we fold them down, they're getting towards about 5/8 of an inch.
But again, I think that this is size for this, it would just change the size of the basket.
It really, yeah, it really doesn't matter. If you want to make exactly, you know, this look, then that's the size, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is ready. I'm letting this dry just a bit so that it's easier, you know, we can take these clips off. But in the meantime, I'll take the strips that are underneath an overlapping piece and I'll fold those over and just press them down nice and tight with my fingers. I'm kind of skipping the corners right now until I'm ready to take off the clips. You want to start with a really nice crisp corner, crisp base. All right, do you think we can take the clips off now? Let's do it. Now I'll go ahead and continue to fold all of my strips. And when you're folding a strip where you don't have the crossover, just make sure it lines up with the strip that is underneath, so you get a really even base. Nothing like pressure of doing a live project on video. And this is a different one for us too. You know, we usually do flowers or plants or something in that genre, but today I wanted to do something different. I'm going to continue using these clips throughout the basket, throughout the process of weaving the basket. So I'll keep them close by. And now that's one more. All right, and now I'm ready to go. So I have my 4 longer strips. Start with 1. Let's see if I can do this so you guys can see it. So I'll start with 1, and I think I'll start on this corner here. I'm placing it behind, so you'll want to make sure that you're weaving it. There we go. Make sure you're starting it in the direction so you're overlapping and then going under. So just start it like this. I'm going to go to the other end so that my fold's going down. Okay, so can you see what I'm doing here? So I'm continuing the weave, but it's folded up. And since this is on top, I'll take about a half of a width of one of the strips and fold it in, and this is where I'll attach it to the first piece so that it is secure. Does that make sense? Am I just talking nonsense here?
That makes sense.
Okay.
Let us know if that didn't make sense.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and add just a dot of glue on that strip to hold it in place. I found that it works better for me to attach as I'm working around. Otherwise it just starts to slide around. So this works for me. Okay, now I'll go ahead and, you can see I clipped it because I have a bit of glue. Now I'll go ahead and just keep weaving. And if you're noticing funky gaps, stop and start over, because that means that you've woven it the wrong direction. Okay, I'm at the corner. Before I go around the corner, I'll line it up as best possible because it does slip around, and I'll give it a nice fold. So I'm folding it backwards and then folding it forwards. Folding it backwards along the edge of this, and then it'll move forward. A nice crisp fold really does help. Let's see. Okay, so before I go too much further, a great way to hold things in place, I'm going to take one of these. You can see here we have the horizontal on the top on the outside and the vertical is inside. I'm going to fold down the vertical so it keeps it nice and snug, and use a clip. And you can do this, you can do every single one if you want to, because this will really keep it nice and tight. The first round, it's so short, it's a little, a bit more cumbersome to clip it in, but as we move up, I like to keep them really clipped in. This will help you make your basket nice and tight, and with less, you know, with more of an even weave. There we go. Okay, we're at the corner again. Do the same thing. You can see here I'm pressing it backwards, partially because I have the strip overlapping and it gives me a good line to press against, and then pressing it forward. I'll move around the corner and add that clip. How is this going? What do you guys think? Is it making sense?
I think it's making sense. We'll see what the commenters say.
Okay.
I know we've got a few people working along with us.
Oh, okay. I love that.
I know it's a little chaotic on screen, but
It is chaotic on screen. And, you know, remember, if you feel like you're getting behind, no worries. You can always watch the video again. It will be available immediately since we are filming live. The reason why I'm not clipping these inside is right now it's too messy, so I'm just doing every other one. After a while I'll start clipping in both directions. Okay, so here we are. We'll get the corner. Once I turn the corner, it works really well to flip that down and add the clip. It's messy on video because there's all these things flying around too. All these strips. Where did that come from? All right. All right, we are back where we started here. But before I go too much further, I do want to clip this one in. I'm going to take out my original clip that was holding the glue. The glue does dry really fast. And since I'm in a tight corner, I'll go ahead and cut this. This is kind of awkward. You can see here. So I have second to the last piece is woven. This will go under the last piece. So I want to cut this about the width of one piece. I'll add some glue. Put that behind, and that should tuck right in. Since I did, well, I'm going to start over in a second, so I'm not going to clip that for very long, but I'll give it just a second because we need to keep going.
Quick question.
Yes.
When you made this with ribbon, were you doing them in a round shape or were they
No,
square?
I actually did a square for the ribbon as well. Although you probably could do a round version, but for the ribbon, I actually did a square basket. You can find it. Maybe you can find a link for that.
I'll see if I can find that.
Yeah, I think it's also a free post. I don't believe we did a video for that though. So it's available to anybody who wants to see it. All right, so now we're going to start the second layer, and we need to remember we're not starting behind this strip because that would be, we need to be opposite. So instead, I'm going to start behind the strip right beside it. Same thing, I'll just add just a touch of glue and place it down nice and even. And then I'll add a clip just to hold it into place while it dries. I just realized I did it on the wrong side, so we'll just flip it over. Okay. And keep weaving. Again, as you're working, double check that you are going the right direction so that you have that beautiful woven pattern. Here, can you see that, Brittany? I'll turn it around for you. Let's see if I think I can weave backwards. Just like this. And once again, I'm going to pull these nice and snug, fold them over, and give them a clip. If you want to, you can start going both directions. You have a bit more room now. And as I'm pulling it, I'm tightening it up just a bit. Make sure it's nice and snug. hold this at the corner. And there we go. This is really satisfying. I'm guessing that everybody here in the studio is going to want to make a basket. Am I right?
Yes.
Brittany, Matthew. This would be a fun family craft night project. Or do with the grandkids or the neighbor's kids or somebody. You can see how, using these clips is really helpful. It just keeps it easier to manage, and then I don't have strips flying around quite as much if I didn't have these clipped down. And you can see I'm taking the clips off the edge that I'm working on before I go in and weave the strip. Any questions, any thoughts, any fun ways to use these?
I think it could actually look really cute just as a 2-layer even, or the 1
Oh
layer.
yeah, this is 3 layers. So this one's the same idea of just one shorter. And no, that's made out of a grocery bag. Yeah, there's so many options on this. This is just one simple version. I'm going really fast and I'm not checking my work, so hopefully, oh, that looks pretty good. Try to move it along for you guys. We have about 15 minutes left, so.
Maybe you just make a 3-layer one this time.
I could, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, these clips are definitely very handy. I know we use them for all sorts of things in the studio.
We do. I use them for I use them for felt, for sewing, for crepe paper flower making. There's just so many places that.
I like using them for holding like the patterns onto paper while you cut.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and make this a 3. Oh, I only have 2 here. I'll do 1 more. We'll do it really quick. I won't talk, I'll just go. You can talk, how's that?
What should we talk about?
I don't know, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm gonna make it a 2-layer. So obviously this is 4 strips, and this is 2. I want something different. Now I have 3 of these, so I have 3 that are 4-layer, 1 that's 3-layer. How about 1 that's 2-layer? The variations. It's the same thing. You just keep you keep going as long as you want to get the height that you want. All right, we're at the end here again. So I'm going to go ahead and fold that back, and then we'll get it into position.
I know I'm excited to see how you end this. How you make the final weave.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, okay. I might have to glue it. Never mind. I will tell you what I'm saying here in a second. So what I would on the last layer that goes around, I suggest you make it just slightly looser, and that's because we're going to tuck the strips back into the weave. Now I may not be able to do that right now because I didn't make this one looser. This one's actually just as tight. So we'll see. I'll see if I can do it. You have to have it just a bit looser, or else it's really hard to get in. I'm adding some glue into all the layers of that last strip just to hold it in place and we don't have anything floating out. I'll give it a clip just so it can dry here for a minute. And I'll go ahead and remove these. This is a nice size. I can imagine tossing in my Post-it notes or something into this size.
It could be a great drop dish for keys.
Oh yeah, that would be cute. Okay. So our strips are long enough that you can go up. I think you could go 1, 2, 3. You could probably go 3 or 4 layers if you wanted to make a real tall version. While this is drying, I'm going to see if we can pull this off to tuck. So what I would do, I'm starting with a layer that has a vertical or horizontal on top. I'm wrapping it around and cutting it at about 1.5 lengths. I'll fold it back so that it's right in alignment with that first layer there. You can see that, and then fold it back again. Now here's the trick. This is why you want it just a bit looser. So I'm going to tuck it underneath that last layer, I hope. Let's see. Ah. The nice thing is it's pretty sturdy. So, oh, look at that. Okay, I'm able to do it. Since everything else is a bit loose, I can pull it around. And I like that because it makes a thicker rim around the top. Now you'll do the same thing with the next one, but going the other direction. Ugh.
So many strips.
There's so many strips flying around.
You could cut them all first.
I could. That's actually a good idea. I'll just use this as my template. Although I don't know, that's maybe not a good idea. Let me do it the other direction. So a strip and a half. So we want that. So about to here. So I'll use this as my template in the other direction. So you can see I'm going down 1 layer. Just because our tails are not all the same. So this is probably the best way to measure. Impromptu here. I like it. I think I can eyeball it at this point. It's not exact, I can tidy them up. That looks dry. Love this glitter glue, I'm telling ya. Sorry, you guys, you have to watch me sit here and trim edges.
It's nice ASMR.
Okay. The sound of paper. All right, let's see if we can do this now. All right, so I fold it over. I'm going to fold in the tab just to give myself a head start. Get my fingers in there to loosen up that edge and then slide it under. And actually what I'm seeing is that it works that you can sort of pull the tab that's on the other side away just a bit. Of course, as I'm doing that, this one slides out. So this takes a bit more finagling. It takes a little bit more. Now, I'm going to give you an option. So this is the way, I love the woven ends. However, if you feel like it's too much, you can also just fold it over like I'm showing. So I'm folding it backwards first, then folding it inside, tucking it inside. And I really do recommend you do this and not just cut it, because then you'll have all these layers that are loose and that doesn't look as good. You can add a dab of glue and then press it down. So that is an option. But I'm going to go ahead and try to weave these into themselves. And then as I'm doing this, this is a great time to ask questions. bring in your comments.
You can talk about what summer activities everybody's getting up to now that we're in June. I know you've been doing a fair amount of gardening lately.
I have fruit coming out on all of my trees except for the brand new cherry tree I planted in May. So I planted fruit trees last year, and each one of them is already bearing fruit, and that makes me so excited. I don't know, are there any gardeners out there? This is actually working fairly well. It just takes a minute, you know. It's kind of like any other craft where you just sort of have to get in there and move things around. See how I'm just tucking it in. You can see the finished edge there. I have one more to do.
This one almost looks like it could be a lid.
Oh, maybe it can be. Depends on the size here. That's true. You could do that. You could make one just a bit bigger and make a lidded basket. Thank you, Emily. Tell you, creativity never stops. It's funny. A lot of baskets that I have bought, mostly at IKEA, that have lids and bases, I use both sides. I use the lid for one thing and the base for something else. Okay, this is where I glued everything together. Nope, it's not. Sorry, false alarm. Because that one's really hard to get in. When you get to the point where you've actually glued the layers, you'll probably need to glue that last layer. I'm going as fast as I can.
I think this would be a great craft for sitting and listening to an audiobook or a podcast or watching TV or even hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
It would be a good social craft.
Yeah,
Get
it
some
would.
people over and weave some baskets.
Yeah, it would be a good social craft because it's kind of repetition. You don't have to really pay attention so much, but enough attention that you get everything going the right direction. Okay. I also, I don't mind sort of, how would I say it, crumpling up this a bit, when I'm squishing it around. It's fine. This is such a strong material that it really can take quite a bit. It also softens it up just a bit. Okay, this last one here on this side is the glued. That's the glued edge, and that one I'm going to need to glue. And I'm not even sure if I can tuck this in because it's really tight. Okay, I'm going to glue both of these. So I'll show you how I do that technique. Again, I'm folding it. I'll press it down really hard since I am gluing it on the top. Oh, wait, there's no pin in that.
Just a glue dot.
Just a glue dot. And then I'll just press it down. And the reason why I love this glue is it will dry without, any damage to the paper itself. And I'll do the same thing on the inside. Just give it a nice little glue dot. We have just a few more minutes and I'll continue to weave this, but I wanted to show you guys a few other things before we finish. So the Easter basket version, same thing. And what I did is, some of those smaller bags that you get at a gift shop might have this sort of raffia-like handle. Never throw them away, save them. And I took two of the handles and just wrapped them, twisted them together. And I'll show you right here. Take our little felt berries out. And then I glued them on the inside just using another piece of paper. And it's really, really secure. We've also made some larger Easter baskets with the same technique. So, you can make a bigger basket for sure.
And you could probably experiment with using the same material to make the handles.
You can. I experimented with it. I tried a few different versions, and I did a twisted one, and it actually made it too bouncy. So if you're going to do it, I would suggest just make something very secure, almost as if it was a leather handle, but it's made from paper. So make it very secure and not so that it can stretch. You don't want it stretchy. Mine was stretchy. It ended up being that way. I thought it was a clever idea. It didn't turn out. That happens.
Just takes a little experimentation.
Yeah. So I haven't revisited that yet, but you know, it's a good idea to do so. I would probably, if I were making a big handle out of this material, I mean, you could make a thicker raffia from the paper if you just sort of keep twisting it and working it. That's another idea. Make kind of your own DIY version of the raffia. I'm sure Arlene has some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
She's clever in that way. You can see how sometimes they poke out the side, and you can slide them in with your thumb if you want to, or if you want the roughness, that's okay too. All right, is there anything else? I'm almost done here. Is there anything else? I don't put any protection or sprays on these. I mean, if you wanted to paint them, you could, if you like that look. I like that really natural look for my baskets, but make it your own personality.
I think I would draw flowers on every little square.
Would you?
Or maybe like a little tic-tac-toe flower and then a circle, maybe a little bee.
Definitely the bee.
Yes, and if you experiment with these baskets and find a good way to make the handles, you can definitely share with us over on our social website. We'd love to see what you do.
And you can find that just by going to our homepage, and up in the corner it says community. Click on that and you can join our community whether you are a member or not. This is a craft community, so you get lots of great ideas there. All right, I am to the last 2 strips. And
Just on time.
Yeah, and I think a good thing we only did 2 layers, huh? It would have been a lot of the same thing, so you didn't miss anything. And I love having the variation. Okay, my last one, it's going to be a little tricky, so I'm going to go ahead and glue it. I want to show you guys what I'll be teaching next month on the YouTube Leah Live. So as soon as I get that in, I'm going to clamp it to dry. And actually I want to see if it fits as a lid because it got, I think I might be able to make it work. Almost. Cute. Almost. If I had it, thought about it ahead of time, I might have left the top a bit looser weave so that it would pop on easily. That's actually pretty good though. Okay, so next month, all right, don't freak out because it's not this whole thing. I'm actually just finishing filming my arrangement class, and this is one of the arrangements that we're going to do, which is a big, wild, beautiful, extremely colorful arrangement. So what I'm going to teach are these little wild poppies. I'm going to teach you how to make these. They're quite simple. You use heavy crepe paper. You can use our crepe paper or anything you have. Very easy to do, and I think it's perfect for our July lesson here on YouTube. So there we have it. That's what we're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always know ahead of time, but that one I know. So, all right. Any other last minute questions?
Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. I think
All right.
this turned out so cute.
I love it. I love it.
We did have one question. Should there always be an even number of base strips, like 5 and 7, to get a rectangular basket?
If you want a square basket, yes, even. If you want a rectangular basket, you can go uneven. One thing that I haven't sorted this out in my head as I'm talking because I've only done this version. If you have an odd number rather than an even number, I'm curious if it would throw off the way that it rotates around. So I'm not sure. Give it a try because you want to make sure that it's up, down, up, down, up, down. Someone out there who's better at math may know that. Maybe Matthew does. Matthew, do you know?
Not offhand.
Okay, well.
Experiment.
Yeah, experiment. And if it doesn't work, make sure you don't glue anything into place, and then you can pull it apart and do something else.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here, you guys, and we will see you next month for another one of these fun crafts. We're going to make the poppies.